So who was the Allah of the pagan Arabs?
The creator, the maker.
According to your Islamic sources, the chief god, the Lord of the Kaaba, was Hubal. And Hubal was the god of Muhammad's family. Abdul Muttalib, when he went to pray, he went to the statue of Hubal, and as he's praying to Allah, he was facing Hubal.
I want to confirm with multiple scholars, not only with you.
Oh, I'll give you Ibn Kathir, I'll give you Al-Tabari, I'll give you Qurtubi, Ibn Ishaq. Yeah, here, even Yasir Qadi here. Right here, Yasir Qadi. This is the book I'm quoting from. I'm going to hold it up. Era of the Prophet, contemporary original answer is Dr. Yasir Qadi.
Yes.
But anyway, here it is. Let's see what he says. The person who first altered, because like you, he thinks Ibrahim and Ismail went to Kaaba. Okay, fine. The person who first altered the religion of Ibrahim and introduced paganism was Amr ibn Luhay al-Khuzai.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
well, so you agree with that. That's good. The Prophet said, I saw Amr ibn Luhay al-Khuzai wandering around in the fire of hell with his entrails cut open behind him. He was the first to alter the religion of Ismail. Amr ibn Luhay traveled to the pagan Amalekites. This is very important. Amalekites mentioned in the Bible. They are from Syria. And returned to Mecca with an idol called Hubal. And thus paganism was born in Mecca. So where did he get the statue? From the Amalekites. What was the chief god? Hubal. Do you know who the chief god of the Amalekites was?
I'm not sure. That's in the Bible. I'm not sure.
I'm going to tell you what Hubal is. Hubal is the Arabic of Hu Baal. He is Baal. The god of the Amalekites was Baal.
Yeah. That's in the Bible too. Baal.
That's what I'm telling you. So
yeah.
You understand that this statue was a statue of Baal?
Yeah, but in the Bible, they used to call God Baal, yeah.
And God said, stop calling me that because he reminds you of the pagan god. Yeah, I know. Hosea 2:6-17. Exactly.
Yeah.
But this statue is not the God of the Bible, right?
Of course not.
So you admit, I want everyone to hear you admit. So Hubal is Baal.
Yeah. Statue is Baal, yeah.
So you admit that at the Kaaba, the chief god of Abdul Muttalib was Baal. I want to show you that Abdul Muttalib prayed to Hubal, that was his chief god. This is from Ibn Kathir. Look, Ibn Kathir. Ibn Ishaq stated, it is claimed that when Abdul Muttalib received such opposition from Quraysh over the digging of Zamzam, he vowed that if 10 sons were born to him, he grew up and protected him. He would sacrifice one of them for God at the Kaaba. You know the story. And then the arrows fell on Abdullah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but here, I want you to see who his God was, his chief God. Eventually, he had 10 sons grown up whom he knew would give him protection. He assembled them and told them of his vow and asked them to honor his pledge to God, Almighty and all glorious is he. Now watch. They obeyed and asked him what he wanted them to do. He asked each of them to take an arrow, write his name on it, and return to him. Look where he went to. They did so and went with them inside the Kaaba to the site of their God, Hubal. This is Ibn Kathir. So,
yeah,
you see, right? He's admitting this. Good. Notice their chief God is Hubal, and you just admit that's Baal, right?
Yeah, okay, it's okay.
Okay, it's Baal. So, guys, you just had a Muslim who's honest enough to tell you the God worshipped by the pagans, their chief God is Baal.
Yes.
Abdul Muttalib, because he was a pagan, worshipped Baal. Good. All right. Remember, he said an arrow, right? He goes, I want to put a name of each one of you on the arrows, right? And he said, I'm going to put the name of every one of you on the arrows to see which one needs to be sacrificed. So he went to Hubal. There near Hubal were 7 arrows, which they used for divining a judgment over some matter of consequence. They would come to Hubal or Hubal to seek a resolution, accepting whatever they were ordered to do or to refrain from. So he goes to Hubal, takes the arrows, and it falls on Abdullah. They begged Abdul Muttalib, do not kill Abdullah. He's the one who becomes Muhammad's father. By the way, does that sound familiar? What did the Baal worshippers do? Sacrifice their sons. So what did Abdul Muttalib say? If you give me 10 sons, I'll sacrifice one of them for you. Are you making the connection here? So now he wants to know which of the 10 should he sacrifice. Okay. It fell on Abdullah, who later becomes the father of Muhammad. They're begging him, don't do it. So what does he do? Because he can't break his oath. So they left for Medina, where they found the diviner whose name was Saja. he went to a sorceress. See, they're all pagans, man. He's going to a witch, a sorceress. They rode off again, went to her and sought her advice. Can we make atonement for Abdullah? Can I spare him from being killed? She tells him, look, Abdul Muttalib, telling her of the whole problem regarding him and his son, she told him, leave me today until my attendant spirit, a genie, comes and tells me what to do. Abdul Muttalib, his god is Hubal. He was going to sacrifice one of his sons to Hubal, which is what the Baal worshippers did. How does he now save his son? He doesn't go to a Christian or a Jew. He goes to a sorceress, a witch, who contacts spirits. They left her, and Abdul Muttalib prayed to God. Next day, they went back to her, and she informed them that she had a message. How much is the blood money you prescribe? 10 camels, they told her. That being then the case, then go back to your land and present your man as an offering and do the same with the 10 camels. So she's saying, now go to Hubal and then inquire how many camels will take to sacrifice to save Abdullah's life. Pay attention. Then cast arrows to decide between him and them. If the divining arrow points to him, then add to the number of camels. So if the arrow that you're going to use to discern, should I kill Abdullah or the camels? If it keeps pointing to Abdullah, don't stop until the arrow then says, okay, kill the camels. Until your God is satisfied. Notice, until who? Your God is satisfied. If it points to the camels, then sacrifice them in his place. That way, you will please your God and save your man. Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question right after this. Watch here. So they went back to Mecca, and when they had agreed to do as she had said, Abdul Muttalib said prayers to God. Then they offered up Abdullah and the 10 camels as sacrifice and cast the arrow. At that point, the men of Quraysh told Abdul Muttalib, who was standing near Hubal, praying to God. Do you guys catch it? He's by the statue of Hubal, praying to God. It's all over. Your God is pleased, O Abdul Muttalib. Now I'm going to ask you a question. We are told by Ibn Kathir and other Muslims, the God of Abdul Muttalib is Hubal, Hubal. Who's Baal? You just said it's Baal. Good.
Okay.
Baal requires human sacrifice. Does Allah require human sacrifice?
No.
So when he went to this sorceress, this witch, and she said to him, since you give 10 camels as a sacrifice for diya, blood money, go to your God until he's satisfied with the exact number of camels that he'll accept for you to kill in place of Abdullah. So now I'm going to ask you a question. It's not Allah, right, that wants Abdullah to be killed, right?
Oh, no, because no, they don't accept the...
Oh, good.
No.
So who is he going to kill Abdullah for? Because he's made an oath. If you give me 10 sons, I'm going to kill one of them. Who does he now want to sacrifice Abdullah for?
I'm guessing Baal?
Yes. Because who's going to accept 100 camels as sacrifice after using arrows, divining arrows? This was a way they would discern what their God wanted. Allah or Hubal?
Hubal, they worship Hubal.
Good, Hubal. But I'm now confused because if you go back and look in the Arabic, he's saying he stood by Hubal and prayed to Allah. Why is he praying to Allah when he's standing before Hubal? When the sacrifice is for Hubal, he wants to kill Abdullah for Hubal and wants to see, will Hubal accept camels instead of Abdullah? Why is he standing before the statue of Hubal and praying to your God Allah? Why is Allah agreeing with the pagan practices of killing your children as an act of worship to Baal and then going with the advice of a witch, a sorceress who was inspired by a genie? Why?
It's the first time I see this.
Okay, so why don't you come back with the answer? I'll give you the article because I don't want to put you on the spot. Now you know, go ask your sheikh, come back because I don't want you to just make up stuff.
Okay, thank you.
You see the problem? Either now he would have to say, Allah accepted the intercession of Hubal, Baal, a name of Satan. So Allah is acknowledging the existence of Baal and he's accepting his intercession for Abdul Muttalib and he's accepting the advice of a genie given to a sorceress. Or Hubal is Allah. That was what I was going to prove. If you go to my series that I've done in articles, Hubal was the chief god of Mecca. So the Allah of Mecca was Hubal. So if you said, who was Allah? Hubal. Hubal, Allah. Allah, Hubal. The personal name of Allah, Hubal. In other words, Baal Elilah. The Kaaba was the shrine of Baal. The God, the Allah of the pagans was Baal, Satan.